In Portland Metro real estate, the inventory gap versus last year continues to widen. Prices tick downward, and I've got a couple of year-over-year supply and demand numbers to share with you. Let's take a look at the numbers. The average sale price was down by 1% versus the previous week, but ended up down 5.7% versus the same time frame last year. This puts us back in the red after being in the black last week, but only just barely, just by half a percentage point. I'm not too worried at this point about the year-over-year difference because just as you can see here, we had a couple of really wild weeks recently with the highest average sale price we'd seen so far this year, followed by a giant plunge. And since then, we returned back to our trend line. Well, this week last year, there was a 1 week anomalous spike of about $35,000 in the average sale price. Next week, that will go away. And so I think that the difference between the average sale price year over year will mellow. Buyer demand continues to be holding steady. The number of new transactions came in at 673, just 7 homes shy of where we came in the previous week. Lockbox opens, our other major buyer activity, was up by about 3.6% versus roughly the same time period last year. So that trend of buyer demand holding on in the face of higher interest rates seems to be continuing. Inventory, or the supply side of the equation, came in 1% higher than the previous week, but 8.9% lower than the same time period last year. That is, there were almost 9% more homes for buyers to choose from last year than there are this year. For context, I looked back about 6 weeks to chart the trend and compare it to last year's trend. Over the past 6 weeks, the number of active listings increased by about 516. Last year at this time, the increase was more than triple at 1,619. So the inventory was increasing at a much faster pace last year. This year, the issue is that we have simply too many folks who are locked into their homes with an interest rate that starts with a 2 or a 3, and they either can't afford to move up to their next home, or they don't want to afford to move up to their next home. I think this is keeping inventory low and helping support values. When I did the same thing with the demand numbers, the number of pending deals, the total number of pending deals only decreased by 65 over the last 6 weeks. Last year at this time, that decrease was 816. So buyer demand last year was decreasing at a much greater pace than it is this year. That trend and the previous trend with inventory, I think, is definitely something to watch. So that's all the excitement I have for you this week. Thanks for watching to the very end. Please give this video a thumbs up and follow this channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you next week.